CBS News contributor Nick Thompson is editor-in-chief of Wired. He interviewed Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg last month about Facebook's privacy problems, and he's joining us now. So, Nick, we got a little sneak peek at what we can expect today. We saw his opening remarks. He released them yesterday. What did you make of them? What does that say?
So the opening remarks were pretty standard, and they said, "I'm so sorry," right? And he's going to say that a lot today. And then he also said, "But you know what? It's not entirely my fault." And he explained all the different ways that this particular breach of trust and removal of data was not entirely Facebook's fault. And then he went into all the things that they've done to try to fix the problem. And I think it kind of showed the way he thinks about it, which I think is the right way to think about it, which is there's a little bit of an overreaction to this Cambridge Analytica data breach, but there's been an underreaction to the last 12 years of privacy violations. So I think he understands that Facebook has kind of screwed up the issue of privacy, and there's too much heat for this particular offense, but it's because there wasn't enough heat for all the other offenses.
I thought that the opening remarks were sort of a little cute because he starts by saying, look, I just wanted to build this platform to bring everybody together, essentially. I didn't realize people would use a platform to bring everybody together for, horrible reasons. But he doesn't talk about the fact that it's not the platform, it's the data. Yeah, we know that this brings people together.
Well, at the core, it's actually the business model.
The business model,
Because the business model is we will learn as much about you as possible and sell you targeted ads. And it's a great business model. And it is the business model that has caused all the problems. So in fact, the hardest question for Facebook is, does your business model ineluctably lead to privacy violations? Right? And I would love to hear him answer that.
What does he need to accomplish on the Hill? And does anything that he does and these grandstanding senators and congressmen do going to change anything over the next quarter?
Entirely possible. So what he needs to do is he needs to kind of reassure his employees, right? He needs to make everybody who works at Facebook feel like he's got the situation under control and he's actually doing a good job. Because he did a terrible job in responding to the crisis when it happened.
Everybody agrees with that.
Way too slow, big mistake. So he needs to go up there and appear strong, confident, like he can answer the questions. If he appears, Weasley and confused, it's not going to be good at all. So that's number one. Number two is he actually has to try to drive the senators towards a conversation about policy, tell them about the trade-offs. A lot of them don't actually understand how Facebook works. You can see from their public statements in recent days that they don't actually know what this thing does. So he's going to have a kind of a hard line to walk of not appearing condescending, but actually saying, no, we don't sell your data. What we do is we gather your data and then we sell you ads and we give advertisers access to anonymized portions of that data. So like walking the senators through all that so they can reach sensible policy decisions.
So aside from releasing his opening remarks yesterday, Facebook also released this sort of new tool that was, I guess it's unrolling slowly, where they're letting people know if in fact they were victims of this Cambridge Analytica scandal. What do you make of the timing, him trying to sort of front end a lot of stuff?
Well, he's rolled out 25 things over the last 2 weeks. Changes and restrictions on how your data can be used, the restrictions on apps. Apps have to delete your data if you haven't used the app in 3 months. All kinds of good stuff, right? Like smart stuff they've thought through. They've made your privacy controls much simpler, much easier to understand. That's all very smart. Yeah, they move quickly. That's the thing about Facebook. They decided to try to address this problem. Now they're addressing the problem. As for this particular tool, what I wanted to tell you which of your stupid friends answered that survey and sent your data to Cambridge Analytica. That's the thing that I want to see.
It was a personality quiz, right? I might have been the one responsible.
Anne-Marie probably took that quiz. And then put it on her Facebook page for all of us, her friends, to take that quiz too.
Harvest our data from.
What will other Silicon Valley leaders be looking at as Zuckerberg goes to the Hill?
They'll be looking for a couple things. One, they'll be looking for what is the likely regulation to come out of this, because it's going to affect all of them, right? It's going to, whatever hits Facebook will also hit YouTube and Twitter and a whole bunch of other companies. They'll also be looking for, how does this guy do? Because he's a symbol of Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley's stock, in sort of the general sense of things, is way down, right? Everybody used to love all things Silicon Valley, not so much anymore. So they're going to be watching that very carefully.
That's great.
Good point. Nick Thompson, thank you so much for stopping by.
Here to serve, Vlad.
We'll be bringing you continued coverage throughout the next couple of days. You can watch Mark Zuckerberg's testimony live on CBSN starting today at 2:15 Eastern and tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern.